Good morning. I'll call the meeting to order. The tentative agenda is presented. I have not been notified of any changes to that.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as in front of us.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Betty, if you would read the minutes of the April 10th.
April 10, 2023. Chairman Cluse called the regular meeting of the Wright County Board of Supervisors to order at 9 a.m. Members present were Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgebold. Motion by Helgebold, seconded by Rasmussen to approve the tentative agenda. Motion carries. Motion minutes of the previous regular meeting of April 3rd and special meeting of April 7, 2023 were read and approved. Approved claims for payment. Motion by Cluse, second by Rasmussen to approve resolution 2023-16 to withdraw from the Articles of Agreement which form the Workforce Development Chief Elected Officials Consortium for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014. By roll call vote, ayes, Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgebold, nays, none. Resolution 2023-16 duly passes and reads as follows. And there you can see the resolution in its entirety. Motion by Cluse, second by Helgebold to receive the quarterly revenue report from the Wright County Recorder. Motion carries. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to approve the third and final reading of ordinance number 65 on the tanning facilities. By roll call vote, ayes, Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgebold, nays, none. Motion carries. The full ordinance will be published in the newspapers. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to appoint Eric Rector, Wright County Conservation, to the Wright County Trails Committee. Motion carries. Alyssa Sparks, Support Recovery Supervisor, presented the proposed child support county staffing contract leave payout. This will legally permit the state to pay out county-based child support employees accrued leave. There was no action taken today. An amended 28 EU agreement will be presented to the board for their review at a later date. Adam Clemens, Wright County Engineer, gave an update on the secondary roads. There were 38 work orders completed last week, with 31 of them being FEMA related due to spring floods. Blades had a good first full week of blading routes and are almost completed on reclaiming granular routes. Crews have completed 18 of 59 segments of engineer mile rock. There are currently 3 positions open in the secondary roads department: a patrol operator, mechanic, and truck driver. Clemens presented the Iowa DOT secondary roads 5-year program. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to approve the Iowa DOT secondary roads 5-year program. Motion carries. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Helgebold to open the public hearing for the fiscal year 2024 Wright County budget at 9:30 a.m. Motion carries. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to close the public hearing at 9:33 a.m. Motion carries. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to adopt the Wright County fiscal year and 2024 budget as presented. Motion carries. Motion by Helgebold, seconded by Rasmussen to move into closed session at 9:33 a.m. pursuant to Iowa Code 21.51J to discuss the purchase or sale of a particular real estate only where premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the governmental body would have to pay for that property or reduce the price the governmental body would receive for the property. By roll call vote, ayes, Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgebold, nays, none. Motion carries. Motion by Rasmussen, second by Helgebold to move into open session at 9:47 a.m. Motion carries. Motion by Helgebold, seconded by Rasmussen to not pursue the purchase of real estate as discussed in closed session. Motion carries. Motion by Helgebold and seconded by Rasmussen to adjourn the meeting. Motion carries.
Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, they'll stand approved the agenda. We got the claims for payment around. Open forum for public input. Bob, did you have anything?
Well, did you guys go to Dow's?
Yes, I did.
What was that about?
There was an informational meeting for the city council that I believe that the city council had requested Carbon Summit Solutions to come and talk. I won't give you my personal view because it would be skewed. But there was information that was shared both ways, and then the citizens had an opportunity to talk to Carbon Summit Solutions and ask questions and share their concerns. The mayor limited the amount of time and the number of inputs just to keep the meeting moving along. And then there was lots of discussion afterwards between the Carbon Summit Solution reps, Summit Carbon Solution reps, and the members of the public that were there.
We were a pretty good crowd.
How many would you say, Betty?
3, 15,
15?
maybe?
JR, did you have something for us?
Thank you.
Okay, great. I appreciate that.
Aye.
Okay, review and act, item number 6, review and act on resolution 2023 -19 to amend the American Rescue Plan Act resolution to include additional expenses. I'll just read it. I think it's easier explained. I guess I would preface it with, this is due to additional expenses that were incurred on areas that we had approved spending. But then when you get into the project, the cost of materials and everything was more than what we expected. So to the meat of it, whereas based on the distribution guidelines for the U.S. Department of Treasury, the following projects have been approved for use of said funds. HVAC unit for the first floor lobby in the courthouse to go from $26,500 to $48,000. HVAC unit for the recorder's office in the courthouse to go from $26,500 to $40,000. Remodel of the first floor restrooms of the courthouse to social distance and become touchless to go from $15,000 to $34,000. HVAC unit for the stairwell in the courthouse not to exceed $6,344. And an HVAC unit for the Board of Supervisors room in the courthouse not to exceed $4,971. And so this is for the adjustments of the dollars.
And then out of that 2.4 million, we have about a little over 500,000 still left for.
Correct.
Okay.
We'll have about 584,607.
584, okay.
And there's some designated funds that have not been utilized yet also. Again, we have until December of 2024 to designate the funds. We have until 2026, December of 2026 to utilize the funds, right? So hearing that, I'd accept a resolution, a motion concerning resolution 2023-19.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-19.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2023-19, addition and amendment to the original resolution 2022-14 and 2022-35 to approve disbursement of funds for the American Rescue Plan Act. By roll call vote, Carl.
Aye.
Rick.
Aye.
Dean. Aye. Motion carries. Sign both of these.
Yes,
Ben.
please.
Okay, item number 7, assign Sandy McGrath as the authority to assign the county substance abuse grant for the Board of Supervisors. This is a grant that's, go ahead.
With the opioid reduction dollars, we have a task force, and one of the items that we identified is to have more education at a younger level on prevention. So in the process of my daily routine, I noted that there is a county substance abuse program. There's $10,000 available in that. They're very specific that it is under the Board of Supervisors, not in conjunction with Board of Health. So
You say in conjunction or not?
Yeah, in
conjunction?
conjunction.
Okay,
So,
all
but
right.
they're very specific that it needs to be the board of supervisors
That apply for it.
that apply for this. So when I go into iowogrants.gov's, you know, I have signatory authority on, Board of Health grants and things like that. I'm not able to, well, they did fix it to drop downs where I can put you guys in there. So one of the, to do this, I needed a signatory authority to be able to sign, and then we'll send that letter of transmittal. And it isn't it isn't public health specifically, I'm more of a support. Jeremy, Sheriff's Department, I'll let you take off with.
We're gonna try to get into each school in the county
Excellent.
and go into, it's called My Generation RX. So it talks more about like the opiate addictions, where most of what we're seeing in the county right now is the misuse of prescription medication. So it'll be like, I think there's 4 or 5 sessions that we'll sit down with, we'll wanna hit 7th grade, and then there will be like a 2 session for the 9th grade. But most of our schools have DARE. This is kind of a follow-up where this is actually has some science behind it, where there's some activities and programs where we'll sit down and talk about what do you do with your prescription? How important is it to make sure that your prescription and don't share prescriptions in school? I know Adderall is being abused at school. I know there's some other ADHD medications that have been passed amongst each other. We haven't had a huge problem with it, but with the opiate addiction right now that we're seeing coming into Iowa, we want to get the kids to know how serious it is, how dangerous it is. They may think because it's prescribed by a doctor that it doesn't matter if you take it or not because it's been prescribed to the doctor. So,
Okay.
and then also we're gonna hit on vaping. There's we can add some things too. So we'll hit a little session, maybe more for the 9th grade and for the 7th grade. We'll see how we're gonna fix that or fit that in, but we'll go into a small session on kind of talking about vaping, how dangerous vaping is, and that leads into I know each school, I think every agency in the county right now are being called at least once a week to the school because of vaping they're catching.
Wow.
Kids vaping, so.
Okay.
And vaping right now is a concern because you can order vape juice that has CBD or THC in it, they'll advertise it. I was one click away from, I could have, and I realized, wait, I'm on the kind of computer. Ordering this vape juice that would have, that it talks about the quality of the CBD and THC in there, so
You
that
can
computer
smell it.
doesn't know how old I
It
am.
doesn't smell like marijuana, but vaping pen actually, you can make it smell like strawberries or whatever you want. And, we had a call here not too long ago where a guy had a prescription and he did a vape pen for his prescription and I couldn't smell it.
Wow.
It smelled like nothing. So the scary thing is the kids are getting caught with these vape pens, we don't know what's in it.
Right.
And with fentanyl issue, it's here, it's coming, unfortunately, probably in the next, I don't want to jinx ourselves, but probably in the next 2 years, we're gonna start seeing fentanyl overdoses because these kids are not kids alone, but adults. If you order stuff on the internet, you don't know what's coming in it. So it could be laced with anything, so we're gonna start seeing. I hope we don't, but the cities, Des Moines, Fort Dodge, I think I talked to the fire chief last week. He said that they've been on like 4 or 5 fentanyl overdoses already just in Fort Dodge. Well, that's in our backyard. Mason City's having fentanyl overdoses, so it'd be good to get it out to the kids that, you know, just because it's a prescription and because you can order it online doesn't mean it's safe.
Okay.
So this program is, you had to choose an evidence-based program. It's a 3-to-1 match. The good thing is Jeremy and I are both salaries, so you pay us, you know, regardless, but we like to work, so. So we can all go up to $10,000, but we have to match that. So I'm basically, he's boots on the ground and the expert on it. I'll just be doing, you know, the paperwork on the backside and writing the grant. And if he needs me to step in, if something happens and you're not able to be there, we can at least interchange people to make sure that the continuity is there.
Do the, on the match, do the opioid dollars that we receive on the settlements, are those eligible as matching funds or not?
They're checking on that now to see if those qualify. You can't use state or federal dollars.
Okay.
And so that needs to, they're working on a clarification. Are those state or federal, or can you match those? Most of it's just time spent, like, you know, I spent several hours just going through this. Well, I'm there anyway, but it adds up, and I can use some of mine as a match to what he's doing, if I'm there anyway doing stuff, so.
Okay. Very good.
Is
Thank you.
Countywide,
I don't want schools. Yeah. Yeah.
You need a motion?
Yes,
for-
sir.
I'll make a motion that, Sandy McGrath and is authorized to sign substance abuse grant.
He's also on that letter of transmittal in case there's questions, I'll call him.
Okay, I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to authorize Sandy McGrath, and it sounds like, would he be an authorized signer also?
I'm not
Well,
sure if
only
you could get into, well, probably not.
Okay.
Once it's signed, we're okay.
Okay, to authorize Sandy McGrath to be authorized to sign the county substance abuse grant for the Board of Supervisors. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
So it's written as myself, Jeremy, and then Betty as fiscal agent. So the
Okay,
dollars
I
will go
got you.
through that way. It's just when you're in Iowa grants, who's working on it.
Okay,
I'm just being that person behind
go through.
the
Yep,
scenes.
thank you for doing this. Okay, item number 8, Jeremy Abbas, Assistant to the Engineer, update on secondary roads.
Morning.
Good morning.
Some activities from the Wright County secondary roads from last week. Blades are prepping and leveling engineer mounds, as we call them, new engineer rock. We did get there's much needed precipitation on the weekend, so we hope to be cutting some of the soft spots out that we know are present from the winter activities. The blades were also reclaiming granular routes, so the shoulder reclaimer, pulling that material in, letting it dry off. And a lot of that material comes from the winter activities as well. We don't want to lose all that or into the ditch on the shoulder, so. Trucks are currently hauling engineer miles. They hit it pretty hard last week, so we are getting some good material on the ground. Work orders, we completed 8 last week, most of them service. Due to blades, trucks are back out doing normal activities and the bridge crew was doing some cold flow crack sealing. So this time of year, your cracks are opened up pretty good on the roads. Engineers try to utilize a bridge crew in some of those small projects to do some crack sealing with some cold flow. Essentially just sealing up the cracks from winter time. You get some to open up and in the spring, they open up even further. So these guys are able to get in there and get that done. They're also finishing removing snow equipment from the spare equipment. Getting that ready to go for the summer. That granular program with the engineer miles they're 55% complete already. So zone 1 is complete. And they hit the ground running as soon as weather was allowable. 8 individuals from the motor graders will be taking some schooling on May 10th as well. So all things going good right now. No one calls were put in last week, so our dirt work and our tile digging up our dig tiles, we're repairing our intakes and stuff like that will begin this week as well. That's all we got. Thank you.
Okay, item number 9, review and act on the professional service agreement with Snyder and Associates Incorporated for the Wright County Inspector Services on the Summit Carbon Solutions Pipeline. I've had an opportunity to review that. We actually sent it back to them for some clarifications that we had questions about. They have made those changes to the overriding document, and Appendix A is where the meat of the document is at, exactly what it entails. Did you, go ahead.
Also in this, when I called her up and clarified, they are going to be doing the drainage portion of their county inspectors, but they're also doing the drainage. And so, but they have contracted with McClure Engineering on the drainage side of it, so that the landowners, not only their private assets are gonna be, and tiles and land will be taken care of, but also the drainage, the county drainage side of it. So, but it will all be billed through Snyder.
Was there any
And then when they bill us, we in turn bill
the pipeline? And then the pipeline reimburses us, and we have to, within 45 to 60 days of receiving that reimbursement, we have to reimburse Snyder and Associates. If we don't meet that 60-day after we've received it, then there's 1.5% interest
That's after 60 days.
after 60 days. That's
Because
correct.
in part 10, it says 45 to 60.
Correct.
But as you go down on 10.3, it says 45. That really should maybe say 45 to 60 days. Because it says professional will be paid within 45 days of the client, even though it says 45 to 60 up there. And if you go back on that back page also, it's just contradictory. I think that needed to be clarified from Brian, actually, when I went back to reread it. And if you look at item 3, A,
This is in the appendix. that you're talking about?
section 3, this is professional will be paid within 45 days of client receiving payment by the pipeline. So that we got change in section 10, where 45 to 60. I don't think they changed 10.3 or section 3 where it says 45. I think they should all stay 45 to 60.
Okay,
Just a heads up.
okay.
It's just contradictory. I think it's just a typo.
I think 45 days works because we don't get any interest
Nothing happens till 60
until
days.
60 days,
Right.
is the way that I
Right.
read it.
It's just where I see the client agrees to timely pay each invoice within 45 to 60 days of invoice date. If you go down to 10.3, it says professional will be paid within 45 days of client receiving payment from pipeline. Just a heads up,
Okay,
it can be read both ways there.
so table that.
Well, I don't know if you've had more discussions with them. I mean, is the intent there? But I'm just concerned what the intent is verbally
Right.
is one thing and what is written there is two different things.
That was what we brought to their attention, and
Because it said 30 days before.
Right.
I think what they did is they just changed the one spot, but didn't change those two other ones. It's up to the board. I mean,
but I assume that they won't change. The overarching thing is, if we receive the payment within 45 days, we should reimburse them.
right,
They have billed us, we've billed the pipeline, they paid us. Within 45 days of us receiving payment, we should pay them. There's no penalty until you get to 60 days.
correct,
Mhm.
correct.
And I don't see that timing being it.
No,
Right,
I just wanted to, there is a little bit of I'm okay with it, just so we realize that there is a little bit of discrepancy there, but it does say 45 to 60 ahead of it.
right. So would you like to take action on it then?
I'm comfortable with it. I think,
I am.
I think there's, I think the nature of it is there.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to approve the professional service agreement with Snyder and Associates Incorporated for the Wright County Inspector Services on the Summit Carbon Solutions Pipeline. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 10, review and act on the purchase agreement for the Unison voting solutions, open elect voting system.
So I've been working with Adkins, who is the contractor that sells the Unison Voting Solutions equipment. We currently have their equipment. It is I was gonna look at the purchase date. I'm guessing, it's over 10 years old. Our election equipment is right now. The last time he came and did maintenance on it, he said that there is no more updates to the equipment. So it is what it is, and there won't be any fixes or updates to it. So at that point, I contacted Adkins, and they sent a quote on equipment. The quote is for 6 scanners and then 6 ADA compliant machines. And then also the laptop with the report printer attached to it.
And that allows us a spare, right?
Correct.
We'd have,
We have the 5 polling sites. And then you'd have 1 spare
Hmm.
in case something goes awry. The total cost with the trade-in is $49,056. They did agree to having 0% interest for 3 years. So it amounts to about $16,600 a year for 3 years.
we replaced about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Can they deliver them? Will we have them in time for the election?
I asked, I said that we had a special election for the EMS on September 12th. And I asked if we would be able to try to get them in August so that we can do training and stuff on it. And they said they would try to put us ahead of some of the other counties since we have a special election.
If they don't, our other ones will
It'll be fun,
still
yeah.
operate, right?
Yes, they will.
Okay. And they aren't coming to get our other ones until we receive,
Oh, yeah, I know.
okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase agreement.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to approve the purchase agreement for the Unison Voting Solution Open Elect Voting System at $49,056. Is that correct?
$49,056.
With, zero interest for 3 years, equating to approximately $16,000 a year in payments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 11, receive the quarterly revenue report from the Wright County Auditor. Big sales,
Oh, yeah.
copies, $8.38, flat books and maps, $1,185. And voter registration lists, $10.
what a rush on plat books.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be?
I would make a
It should be
motion
up
to
there.
receive
It
the
should be
monthly
here,
revenue
yeah.
report from the Wright
Go
County
ahead and do
Auditor.
it. Just go ahead and do it.
But I already did down there. You like Carl screwed it
Motion
up.
on the floor.
Maybe he did.
Oh, Dean was here.
I screwed it up.
Here. Just sign up there and I'll write out the other one.
Sorry.
It's under the wrong spot.
No, I did. Shut up.
Motion on the floor. To approve the auditor's report.
Second.
Receive it.
I have a motion and a second to receive the auditor's quarterly report. All those in favor say aye.
Not your deal, baby.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. I was an aye. I was thinking it in my head, but I didn't verbalize it. Item number 12, receive the monthly revenue report from the Wright County Sheriff. County car service fees and mileage, $3,019.37. County new and renewed weapons permits, $1,300. And copy fees of $80 for a total of $4,322.19.
Motion to approve the Wright County Sheriff's report.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to receive the monthly revenue report from the Wright County Sheriff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Look at there. 9:30, item number 13, Matt McDonald and Sean McCoy to give an update on the water quality initiative build and batch and build. Excuse me.
Morning, I'm Matt McDonald. Thanks for allowing us to be here today. I'm gonna pass out some stuff.
Excellent.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, so this pamphlet is kind of our annual report from last fiscal year. Explaining what we've done. What we've done this last fiscal year as an agency. For water quality. These maps are just kind of our, I don't know, just for your statewide perspective, kind of our priority areas. This one I'm passing out here is kind of the water quality infrastructure we have installed over the last 3 to 4 years. in the state of Iowa. So, the batch and build. Let me ask you guys know what a saturated buffer or a bioreactor?
Yes,
Does that sound like a science experiment or?
no, makes perfect sense.
All right, so,
You guys can sit in the chair, okay? Please, be careful when you slide under there, because it'll take your knees down.
all right. Thank you. So we've had Sean working up in, we call it the Boone River watershed, it covers half of Wright County, or west side of Wright County for the last at least 10 years.
Well, I've been here for
Three years, but yeah, I guess we've had the project for about 2 years. So what we're looking to do is install more saturated buffers and bioreactors. What those do, is a tile that goes out to, a ditch. We intercept the tile, we take the water from the tile and we run it through a filtering system or clean it up before it's outletted to like a ditch or a stream. When we say clean it up, we remove roughly 40 to 60% of the nitrates that are in that tile of water before it gets discharged into a ditch. What that does is it improves water quality in the state. We got the nutrient reduction strategy outlines that we need about 100,000 of these practices to meet our 45% goal. So we got a long ways to go for that. We have installed over the last 2 years, about 250 of these statewide. And a lot of the ones that we have installed are through this process we're getting ready to explain to you right now. So traditionally, we have worked with individual landowners or property owners to install these practices. So we go out, our landowner comes in that's interested in installing one, sign them up for a cost share program. They have traditionally got between 50 and 75% cost share to install these practices. We go out there, it takes about a year and a half by the time we get it designed and the contractor gets hired and ready to go. The landowner is responsible for hiring his own contractor to build it. Some of the other contractors aren't really interested in the practices because they're not really their cup of tea. They don't really make a lot of money off of just like one installation in practice. So they had a hard time finding contractors to be willing to do these. So before 2 years ago, we probably installed like 30, 35 practices. Now we've installed 250 the last 2 years. So process has made us more efficient, I guess I'll say. So what it involves with the new process is we go out and actively seek landowners that are people that would be willing to do these projects. So we'll go out and pick an area in a watershed. We'll go out there and get access to look around, find the tile outlets, do some survey out there, run the tile maverick up a tile line to see how far it goes and the grade and that type of thing. Get some information, collect it. We'll go back to the office. We'll do like a tentative design to see if we can make it work. This kind of eliminates like landowners that come in and want to do it and we tell them it's not going to work because for whatever reason, there's quite a few of those. So we go out there, we find the sites that'll work. We go back to the landowner. We tell them, we give them like a tentative design and kind of explain what we would be doing. The key is we kind of batch them on. So if we say traditionally we've done 1 or 2 in a year. Now, if we want to do 25, 30 in a year, we kind of batch them together into like one big project. So what we would propose to the Board of Supervisors is batching 20 to 30 of these projects in one project, going out for public bid, hiring a contractor, then actually installing them.
Should make the contractors more receptive to it.
Very much so, yeah. We get about 30% reduction in cost just because we don't have to deal with all the extra, mobilization fees. Contractors like it because we'll generally hit areas where they can just keep on going down the ditch. We kind of line them up and make it a little bit more efficient for them. The landowner doesn't have to hire the contractor. The landowner actually doesn't even receive cost share, honestly. We just, county hires the contractor, they go out and does get an extra, we call it incentive payment of $1,000 per outlet that he's treated. even with us paying that, it's cheaper for us, the state, long term. To do these practices this way, just because we get that more efficient, like, bid from the contractors and everything. So Sean, I don't know, you can explain some of the areas you've been working in the county. Let's see.
Right, so the small map that really just has the towns and a couple of outlines on watersheds. The two red watersheds were the demo watersheds that we've worked in over the last 10 years, the Eagle Creek and the Prairie Creek watershed. So a lot of our focus has been, well, with this batch and build, we'd like to try to do as much as we can in Eagle Creek. That's kind of where we've got some of these already sited, and we're working with the people to see if we can find 20 to 25 good sites. We're looking at 2024 to possibly bid let these. That's kind of where we're at right now. It's kind of the time frame. So the blue watersheds in between the two red ones, those are newer areas of focus that we just added because we opened up the whole Huck 8. So what I didn't put on was the whole outline of the whole Boone River watershed, but these are kind of the focus areas, but the Boone River watershed is basically open to about anything as far as edge of field goes. Just wanted to make sure that, I know there's been a lot of interest along Otter Creek and, from north of Goldfield. So we just decided to focus on that with cover crops also. But yeah, these are the focus areas. This is where I'm basically out in every day. Like I said, the watershed goes farther east than Eagle Creek. So those areas, down to C70, those will be included in the Buck Creek watershed is in the Boone River watershed. I just don't have that on there because we're kind of right now focusing on these three. But I'm open to anything as far as the Boone River is concerned. And we've probably we're working with a company right now to isolate sites. We've been out and met with 4 different producers. So we've got 4 producers that I'll go out and look at their outlets and see if those will conform to what our specifications are for the practices, basically. And right now, I'll be doing those from now till July. So most of those are accessible because they have filter strips or they're not farmed in the areas where we put these. So it gets to be July and the grass gets too tall and there's a lot of surface intakes and a lot of holes out in those filter strips. So I don't feel comfortable driving here walking through that stuff after July into August. So hopefully we can get all that taken care of, and then this fall we'll do more. And then I'll take the design process through the winter months to be ready to bid that like in spring. It's kind of the steps that we've been doing this in, and
Yeah. So those blue, actually the whole area is on that map. We're gonna be focusing with cover crops, John mentioned too,
Yes.
so.
Excellent.
So in the past, we've limited the amount of acres per landowner. In those areas, we are not limiting the amount of acres in landowner. So,
right.
flat fee, $25 an acre for regular landowners.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll kind of what Matt and I had talked about is my goal in those 3 areas is about 5,000 acres of cover crops per year. And that's just through our WQI. That doesn't include our statewide stuff or any federal stuff. We've been doing around 10,000, everything combined. So that's a pretty good number. And then I've set a goal for 20 edge of field practices per year after this year and till if I ever retire, I guess is the way to say it. So that's kind of where we're sitting, and we'd like to continue the batch and build process. It takes time, and you almost have to look out 2 years because it takes a while to get everything kind of set up.
Good. And you guys have met with Betty. She's gonna serve as the essentially the fiscal agent for the batch and build.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know
not
if you know what you're
considered
getting into, but yeah.
fiscal agent.
Thank you, Betty, for working.
Sean's gonna hold my hand through this.
We can work together for sure.
I will mention, we have been working with other counties in the central Iowa. Story County, we just built 25 of these. One was almost a mile long saturated buffer, which is pretty cool. We met with Jasper County in the last month and a half. They're interested in doing, we can do kind of a similar approach with there, which is the county east of Des Moines. Boone County, we're working with doing one this year. And then, of course, Polk in Dallas. Polk is the Des Moines metro area. We've installed 100 practices in the last 2 years there. So method works. It's just, we make it really easy for the landowner.
I think that's the ticket. I
Yeah.
mean, because the landowner's inundated with enough stuff already.
Exactly. And
Any burden that you guys take off of the landowner, and the operator is a plus.
yes, and that seems, I think that's why they've been kind of a little bit more receptive to these, because honestly, it's not a common practice on the landscape yet, but we want to make it that.
Right.
We're also Sean's been working with landowners for drainage water management, which actually probably pays back. They can get a bump in yield from that practice. We'll probably be promoting that in the next couple of years also here in the county.
So to clarify, you said that there's no cost share anymore, but you're paying 100%?
Yeah, so we're actually just paying the construction cost. So we're working through the county to hire a contractor, and pay the contractor.
So there's really no reason other than whatever, okay.
Yeah.
Right, and then,
Is this government entity, like is Wright County
Yes,
able,
yes,
so the county farm,
we can do a project out there. Yeah. We actually are taking that approach in Jasper County too. We've actually already designed a bioreactor that the county employees were gonna build. We've been waiting for the last 5 years for that, so we just said we're just gonna hire a contractor. Because it got kind of stalled that way, but yes, we're able to build these on public land. So.
yeah, and that incentive that is paid to the landowner for outlet, that is basically an ingress egress type of a payment so that we can check on that, you know, for the first year and make sure the boards are set correctly. You know, it's basically, it's a trespass fee, you know, so.
Allows the public contractor to come on.
so outside of that Boone River watershed, in the Iowa River watershed, there's no funding available, that, what,
Well, there's funding there. So we do have South Fork watershed come through here.
no,
We've been working in that area, but yes, we want to do these projects all over,
no,
but obviously the focus area is the Boone River, but we're open to doing what we're open to doing in other
Yeah,
water.
we're kind of like 2/3 and a third, it's like
Right, yeah.
Boone and Iowa, basically. And I think that's on the horizon, it'll come.
well, that's, I'm
later, yeah.
sending you those,
Yeah,
you know, possible
and
sites.
I've been working with guys up in Hancock too, you know, so I mean. If we can do one-offs, find good sites, you know, I don't see why we couldn't promote them. Yeah, I gave them all, you know.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so we have worked, as the map shows, we've worked outside of priority areas, but, we do like to focus on the priority areas, but that's where we get the most, you can say bang for the buck, but bang for the buck.
Right.
The near-term reduction.
Okay, very good. We're excited to, you know, to get going on.
Okay,
We
excellent.
definitely are.
Yeah, all we're doing is information today, just get your support. We'll be putting a draft, it's called 2080 agreement together.
Right.
For you to consider and see the next couple of months, we'll get that over to you.
Great.
So it'll be an agreement between Iowa Department of Ag, Board of Supervisors and the local Wright Soil and Water Conservation District.
Yeah.
What they do is they hold maintenance agreements, so make the landowner sign a 10-year maintenance agreement to hold the practice there. If they were to. With the hopes of it be very long, obviously, but
Absolutely.
yeah. It's 10 years.
Good. Very good. Thanks for the info.
Thank you.
On drainage district, can they install it in the county drainage district, like an open ditch and some other areas like that, or does it have to be in the?
Yeah, so if it's a public tile, generally we have to get a permit from the local district or some kind of
Right. But
approval to do that.
in Wright County, at least, the Board of Supervisors acts as the trustees,
Sure.
with the exception of, I think, 3 drainage districts controlled by, City of Eagle Grove.
And one in Goldfield, I think.
Is there? Okay. But, yeah,
Yeah, so we generally work with the engineer I don't know if do you guys have a private engineer that kind of manages the drainage district?
We typically, work with McClure Engineering, we have in the past worked with,
Riken,
say it
is
again,
it Riken Engineering
Rankin, yeah.
or Lee Galantine,
Yeah, that's, CGA,
CGA? There you go.
Pop Saddle Garber Associates. They're out of Akla,
Okay,
but, yeah,
Right, and that's one thing is that when we're out investigating outlets, most of them are anywhere from 6 to 10, 12 inches. They're not. 12 inches can be, 10 inches can be county tile, but when we get to the bigger ones, we can probably treat up to an 18-inch tile. So they are bigger like that. I always investigate them, see if they're within the drainage district or drainage district tile. So that would be where we
Yeah.
talk to you guys, if we wanted to put a practice on that tile.
right.
That's good.
generally, we're not, sometimes we'll hook up to a county line. Or if it's already hooked up to a county line, we actually decrease the flow that goes in.
Yeah.
Just make sure and everybody's okay with that.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Okay, item number 14, review and act on joint drainage district assessments with Hamilton County.
Courtney's just getting here. Just a
She-
minute.
Okay, do you need to have the original?
I do,
There's actually 2 copies, so
Correct.
we'll need both of them signed if you guys approve. One for our records and then one that we will be sending back off to Hamilton County. So this assessment list here is for joint drainage districts with Hamilton County. They are 233-7 and 48-86. They're both Hamilton controlled. There is none with Wright County that we are the control of this year, which is great. 233-7, the total amount that they are assessing the district is $6,672.04. Wright County share of that is only $192.77. That is for FEMA site visits and some sloughing repair that was done. 48-86, the total amount being assessed to that district is $7,123.54. With Wright County share being $1,075.34, and that is for ditch spraying that was done this year.
okay, the waivers 10, what is, I didn't understand what that was.
So Hamilton has already approved these, and they've already declared that they are waiving 48-86 for 10 years. On their portion, which is $6,048.20. That has no reflection on us.
Good.
That's just their notation of what they've already done.
And so if you do the waiver, that allows the landowner to spread those payments out over that period of time, right?
Correct, yep, that's for any amount that is being assessed to the landowner at $500 or more. They can choose to come in and sign that waiver. There is a percentage here in Wright County that they get tacked onto that. I'm assuming that Hamilton County is probably the same way, but I'm not gonna speak to what their percentage is, because it could be different.
Right, like ours would be 6%, the
Yes.
interest,
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
And, have you looked at the, I can't ever say that word.
I have not put ours into the system yet to see if we have any percentages that are gonna be over to be able to spread that. I will bring that back for
So
you guys to review.
any action that we take today would not preclude a landowner from,
Correct,
okay, and
Yeah.
we'll get an opportunity to look at that.
correct, yep, you're
Okay.
just stating that, yep, you're okay with assessing Wright County for
Yeah.
these amounts.
Classification was what I was thinking of. Have you looked at the classification to see what?
Still working on those.
Okay.
There's only $1,000, so if there's over 3, we're below the 500 anyway.
Yeah,
Especially 233-7 for a home, only
Right,
$192.
Exactly.
So,
okay. Taking off of our Board of Supervisors hat and acting as trustees for Joint Drainage District 7-233 and 86-48 with Hamilton County. Hamilton County being the control, I would make a motion to approve the assessments as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the assessments as presented for Joint Drainage District 7-233 and Joint Drainage District 86-48 at the amounts as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay. And all three of us need to sign this,
Correct,
both copies.
yes. Dean, would you like a copy for your records?
Yes, please.
I'll give you my copy and then I'll take your. You guys.
Okay, thank you. Got about 8 minutes before we do our 10 we have a 10 a.m. conference call with Frank on Joint Drainage District 100-2 to accept the specifications for the lower main open ditch construction and set the bid letting date for May 15th, 2023 at 10:30. This is the open ditch that we have had a meeting with them before. This is over in Franklin County, but again, it's a joint drainage district. It's in far southeastern part of Wright County.
I got all this.
Okay. Yeah, I think both of you got
Yeah,
copies
you
of it.
should all have a copy.
While we're waiting for that, was there any updates on meetings?
I had nothing.
Economic development, updates on all the stuff going on in the city. The Eaton's building has a new tenant in it, and it produced, I believe, about 40 jobs coming.
40 jobs.
in
Really?
Belmont, yeah.
What business?
Rents is based out of St. Louis with offices in St. Louis, Kansas City, Ackley, and Sioux City. They clean corn bins,
Really?
seed bins.
Yep.
And say the name of them again?
Rents.
Try Rents.
They are leasing from the current owners. Current owners are Phoenix investors out of Milwaukee. They're the ones that actually bought the complex.
Okay. Excellent. Are they utilizing the whole thing?
Yes,
Excellent.
we were hoping for more employees, but they will be a heavy water user and sewer user for the city of Belmont.
Okay.
It worked out good, yeah. And then all of our revolving loans, all are current, everybody's paying, so things are getting good.
Any update on, I still don't see any smoke coming out of Renutrients. Any word on what
They're still looking at their additional new business plan, looking at hog manure also.
okay,
So they are in contact with that, trying to get that,
Restart.
Yeah.
will they be receiving any of the they stockpiled chicken litter and buried the dead birds, composted the birds when we had our last flu outbreak? Will any of that go through them, do you know, or is that contracted out for fertilizer? Or
I believe the latter.
the latter? Okay, all right.
So next month, or the end of this month, next month, we have to make a decision on their rebate.
Okay.
They get 50% rebate on the taxes. And, somebody will have to go through and read the development agreement and make sure that, do they get it or do they not get it?
I'm not sure if that development agreement is tied to employees or not, and like Prestige was tied to employees, it's every year it gets set.
There's
I can't remember,
there's a
there's
May.
reference to a number of employees.
Yeah, there's
I
a
wasn't sure how
reference,
it
and there's
references
a May instead of a
That's correct.
must, so.
So,
Okay. I didn't have any meetings. I will update the board though on Courtney and I had sent the drainage resolution concerning permits to enter and do work within the drainage district or to cross district assets off to Allers and Cooney, through Tim Whipple, and, when I contacted him last week, he notified me that we would have that, by tomorrow. So, we'll look it over and see what kind of changes, that they recommend that we might make to it, to determine if we have to, change it, or if we should bring it to the board for approval. Because Bill Sullivan with, I don't remember his company, but they're the company that is working the drainage issue for Summit Carbon Solutions, is wanting to have a meeting with us and wanting to start something. We're gonna reply to his email today, letting him know that we're waiting to get this back and to approve the resolution before we're gonna meet with him.
I have DCAT tomorrow at 1:30, and we'll see if there's any more funding.
Okay.
No, I can't promise anything on that one, though. All depends if anything gets released from above.
Okay. But you're working towards it.
Yeah, trying to do something.
Okay, our next item is at 10 o'clock. Are we into the Zoom? with
Yeah,
that?
we're waiting on them.
Wait, point of any,
What?
point of any.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So the 10 a.m. is a conference call with Franklin County on Joint Drainage District 100-2 to accept the specifications for the lower main open ditch construction and set the bid letting date for May 15th of 2023 at 10:30. Again, Hamilton County or Franklin County is the control county on this.
Right, but I can't be in the board Zoom and their Zoom at the same time.
Saying if you're on their Zoom on this screen,
Right,
can you share this computer screen up there? Usually they do. Like,
but you're talking about being in two Zoom meetings at the same time. One for here, so I can share the screen. And then joining their Zoom meeting, so I can share that meeting with ours. You can't do
The
that.
short answer is no.
I don't think he understands.
I understand your question.
I understand it, I'm not a techie guy.
Unless you wanna pay more money, you can't be in two Zoom meetings at the same time.
You have to be in our Zoom meeting on here.
To share the
in
screen.
order- Okay, you can't just connect it here and it'll throw it up
No,
there.
well, it is now, because I switched videos, but.
So we can, on our Zoom meeting, it is still being recorded. We're being recorded right now,
You're still
And-
on.
but they cannot see what we are seeing. But they can hear, just as if we made a conference call on the telephone, what is being said.
And when Franklin comes up, they'll be able to see Franklin? No.
No,
No.
we will be able to see them. They will be able to hear
Okay.
the conversation that's happening on the Zoom.
So that would be nice, though. I mean, it'd be nice to
Yeah.
be able to see, but.
Yeah, we'll be able to see them,
Mhm.
but the people that are on our Zoom will not be able to.
While we're waiting for them to connect, I've already let, Rick know. We have had in the last couple of weeks, 2 calls on DD 107. That's that pipeline over there up in Norway that we just recently had that project on, not even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And we've got one issue where the pipeline or the end of the pipe in the ditch
Mhm.
looks like it's either
It
snapped.
was riveted, but it looks like the weight of the snow
Yeah,
snapped it off.
yeah.
And
snapped the
then-
end of it. And just south of there, what, a mile or 2,
Yes,
there is another chunk of the pipe. That is sticking straight up in the air. I won't repeat what his words were, but straight up in the
I
air.
can.
no,
No, we're all right. They get what I'm saying. So I had Rick go out there. He sent me pictures. We got those on file, and I have reached out to Dan McClure. They were the engineer on the project. Asking if that's still something that's going to be under warranty since it hasn't been the 2 years. He would like to actually come and view the sites in person, even though I sent him the pictures, and he's anticipating to be coming up this week, hopefully tomorrow, to visit that land bridge.
And if she said I could go with, I keep my mouth shut.
Yes. So he's gonna swing over, make a detour and check out those two pipes.
Okay, excellent.
So, and then
And
he'll
then
get back
he'll,
to us.
okay.
Yeah.
Have we, I know that you've talked to him, but is there either through an email or something so that we have a date that, hey, we have notified you
I have
and we're
emailed,
within the 2 years of the warranty?
I have emailed him
Okay.
some pictures and things like that. That's how he originally got them.
Okay, great.
Yeah, she sent me out one day and then.
The
called
end
me.
of last month. 31st, I believe.
That was last week, and then she sends me out the next day.
So, just to keep you updated,
Okay,
we've had 2 calls within a short mileage of each other.
good.
And I told, well, she.
Is it a
was-
travel portion where this is?
The one is right along the road, the other one need to go down there,
Down to the inward outlets.
well, no, down to the, it's in the ditch itself, it's not where it all is.
Okay. And, is the issue where the snow's taking it down, if it's not covered by warranty, would that be covered in any way under, flooding or FEMA?
We don't have any FEMA
Okay,
going on right
all right.
now.
But it's being easy fix.
Right,
The other one that's got the one sticking straight up, yeah, that's gonna be more of a challenge, you're gonna have to dig down and see what happened.
That's in the field?
Well, yeah, it's in the ditch,
I think that's an outlet into the ditch.
yeah,
Fosterburg, he's got that private pond area out there.
Yep.
It's right
Straight
over to the
across from
south,
there.
southeast from there.
Okay.
That's in section 30, I believe,
mhm,
if I recall, and then the one where it's bent down and kind of broke off is along the road is between section 17 and 18. So as you're heading up the road and you come to the 4-way and there's the curve
Yeah.
on the 1-way, you just keep going straight a little bit.
can't miss it.
Harlan. Larson, is that one? No. Not Harlan Larson,
No, I can't remember the name.
Okay.
But I got pictures of both on my phone and sent them to her and.
it's about 500 yards, I think they said, just north of that intersection. Where the one is just snapped off, or the disconnected, and it's just the very end of it.
It was about this much of a section, my opinion. It should just be cut off and eliminated.
I'm gonna be going out, after the meeting, in the Grant Township. To Austin Charleston's folks' place. He sent me some pictures of some blowouts there. I do believe that that district is the district that has the majority of the ownership is US Fish and Wildlife. But, he's got some blowouts or suck holes that I'm gonna go out, I'll get some pictures for you and location and come back and figure out what kind of paperwork I need to do on that.
Okay.
There is a meeting about the pipeline in Esterville on Thursday night. And they're gonna discuss about Iowa Code 352 on land restoration and. But anyway, I think it's kind of an informational meeting. There was some landowners that, it sounds like they currently have it. But I don't know how it affects the pipeline and stuff, so.
Is it gonna be on Zoom or anything, or is it just like?
No, it does, it sounds like it's just gonna be.
Got this up and running because it's 10 o'clock.
Iowa
It's
Lakes,
still not connecting,
We're at their
So-
mercy, unfortunately.
because their meeting hasn't started yet.
Sorry, I get a little impatient.
Someone like you.
There we go.
Yeah, good one. Check us.
You guys on over there, right?
Yeah, there we
Yes, we are.
Can you see us?
They won't be able to see you.
Yeah, but we can hear you.
Okay,
They will not be able to see us.
we're here, and we can hear you. Present is the 3 supervisors acting as trustees for Wright County Drainage District 100-2. The joint drainage district with Franklin County.
Okay, present here, we've got, the three supervisors, Lee Galentine, our drainage clerk, auditor, and we have 4 visitors from the public present.
I apologize. The others that are in the room besides the 3 supervisors are our auditor, Betty Ellis, her assistant, Amanda Meyer, conservation director, Eric Rector, our drainage clerk, Courtney Morris, and our IT specialist, Andy Flagg.
Okay, well, I think we're the lead county, so I'd entertain a motion to open this meeting. I'll put it in a second. We got, motion from McVicker and a second from Lucas Meyer and from Franklin. All in favor, signify by aye.
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 All eyes in Wright County.
Okay, please.
Yes, this was a project that was authorized at hearings last fall, if I remember correctly, maybe even late summer, and there was some discussion, I believe you guys talked to conservation about right of way going through there, so essentially, this lower main tile, we're taking out the tile, converting it to an open ditch. Plans are done, we're ready to go out to bid. The drainage clerk has suggested setting the bid for May 15th. Well, I suggested May 15th. They suggested repeating the bid to 10:15, opening it at 10:30. So that gives contractors, roughly 4 weeks in there to look at things. I have not received any wetland determination from any landowners. I will go ahead and forward these on to Hammersmith, so they're aware of the project. I don't want anybody to be caught by surprise after construction's done, so. And there's electronic copies and email both parents.
Okay.
I had one question for Lee.
Sure.
On station 0+00 and station 1+0, I'm assuming 0+00 is within the ditch right away, but it looked like the spoil bank on one side was outside of the 100-foot easement, and also at station 1. I mean, it's only by a couple feet, but I want to make sure that maybe that's just a drawing error. But I know that we had a 100-foot easement there.
Yeah, so that is a CAD issue.
Okay.
Try to get corrected before we go out for bid. Either way, when we stake in the field, we wouldn't allow them to go outside of the right of way, but thank you for noticing that.
You bet.
Okay, any other questions? If not,
I would make a motion to approve the specifications for the lower main open ditch construction. And general specifications for drainage district 2-100 Franklin and Wright counties.
okay, we have a motion, there's a second.
Okay.
McVicker seconded from Franklin. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All eyes for Wright County.
All ayes, Franklin. Okay, that's all we need to do, right?
As long as everybody's okay with the 15th for the bid lettings, I assume if the drainage clerk's where everybody else is.
You bet. Yep.
Okay. Okay, a motion to approve, or a motion to adjourn the joint meeting?
So, second, Clues.
Yeah, second, from Wright. Whoop. I guess we're adjourned. Oh, there we came back. You came back, you disappeared. All in favor of, adjourning this joint meeting, signify by aye.
Aye. All eyes Wright County.
All ayes, Franklin. You guys have a good day.
You too, thanks.
Do you get a hold of contractors that would bid on this thing, Courtney, or?
We'll put out a notice, in the paper and everything,
Okay,
and then, usually or the engineer has a list of contractors that they can hold us all that separately, and that's what they're doing on their end, because I know we've dealt with that with Hoover, that they have a list that they reach out to. They also have to look at that they've listed on.
But nothing precludes you from telling somebody, it's
somebody, yeah.
all.
But I know Opie was thinking about it.
Yeah, he already talked to me the other day. He was gonna be here this morning. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened, so. But
Anything else?
Was there gonna be a head wall down by the river then, or something?
I
It's just
assume,
gonna be an
no,
open.
there shouldn't be anything down by the
It
river. It
says
should be the open
remove,
ditch.
yeah, it just says remove existing head wall and riprap, start on main tile removal.
Right, there is a existing riprap slash head wall where the tile ends at right now. They're gonna remove all of that, so it'll be an open ditch all the way, after the road. So
Mhm.
it outlets on one side of the road. On the, I guess, by the map, it looks like the north side of the road. And then, Franklin County is planning on putting in a box culvert, where it crosses the road,
Then it goes into an open ditch.
and then it's open ditch all the way to the river.
yeah, their secondary roads department is taking care of that.
Right,
Yeah.
Under the road.
right,
Similar to what we did on the other district over there.
yeah, so we didn't deal with the road.
Right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned.